Hi people, Bear here. Now in this video, I'm going to be talking about the SharkScope HUD, which is a component of the SharkScope Desktop and overlays important player statistics directly onto your tables. Now the HUD combines hand histories and SharkScope statistics, and it's this combination of data used wisely really is a powerful aid that allows you to really take advantage of your opponents. Now I've used Poker Tracker for many years. A lot of you will see me in the tables and my videos in the past, and to be honest, I no longer use Poker Tracker when I'm on MTTs and sit and go tables, simply because the SharkScope HUD just surpasses it in the information it gives me on my opponents. Now, as you know, I'm a big fan of this software, and I genuinely believe once you start using this, you really won't look back. So I'm going to show you how to get it all set up, how it works live. I've actually got a sit and go running in the background whilst we're speaking, and I've also got a couple of tournament tables elsewhere, not myself, other people I'm viewing, so I can actually demonstrate how it works and some of the functions on it. So I'm on the home page just now. So when we set up our stars, there's stars running. Okay, we load up the HUD. There it is there. And when we go to our table, let's just bring up Bear here. Here I am sitting out. What did I have there? A load of rubbish. We'll bring ourselves I am back. And there is the HUD, all singing, all dancing HUD as we speak. Okay, now this isn't the basic view. This is the one which shows you basically people's put in the pot, the pre-flop raise, their aggression factor. And I'll obviously explain how you can dumb that down if you actually prefer having the basic version. So I'm just going to explain a few things for you whilst you can see it here just now. So here when I'm looking at, for example, Mig Souza, we've got his tournament count here, his ability rating, his profit, his 3-bet percentage, voluntary put in the pot, pre-flop raise percentage, and aggression factor. Now, just to make it clear, the things like the tournament count, the ability and profit, etc., all these come from the SharkScope database. However, the actual stats relating to voluntary put in the pot, pre-flop raise, these factors, the 3-bet, for example, all of them actually come and are generated from your hand history. So just make that quite clear when you're actually deciphering where the data is coming from. Okay? And that's a very basic setup. Now, you can actually change that any way you want within reason with regards to the player stats, and I'll show you how to do that in a few minutes. Now if I just walk you through here, for example here, the little cross here, if I just highlight this, if I just come over one of the players here, and I'll just bring that back for you. So if I click on him to activate him, slide across and hover over it, it says SharkScope found. So when you see that little icon there, SharkScope has found the individual, and that's all the data they have on that person. Now, if it doesn't have the icon there, obviously SharkScope's not found them. They've got no hands in the database, probably a new player to the game. Just bear that in mind. Now, if the player has opted out, let me just get that for you. Where these other tournaments here, I've got one here. Here we go. Look at this particular shark here, Sephiros here. There's a little icon here. If I just click to activate him here, if I hover over it, his statistics were reset. Okay, that particular person is reset. And here, this person, as you can see here, if I click on him, is blocked. So very, very simple. If you've used this before, you'll know where I'm coming from. If you haven't, literally you just click on it, so then you slide it over. This particular person's blocked. This particular person has hidden their stats. Well, not hidden, sorry, they were reset on the 31st of December 2014. So you can make up your own mind why that person's done that. If we go back to Bear's table here, so here's the HUD here. Well, very simple. If you click above the line, now you see this line here, it's in red, okay? We've got a little hand here, we'll just raise that up. I can slide and move this all over the table when I have it above the line, even on his name. See what I mean? Very easy. I can position that above, below. So here we go. We'll go half the pot on that one. So I can move that around as I want. We'll just check that. So I've shown you that. That hand there that cost me a little dear. Now if I go beneath the line and click that, that brings up all the information on this particular individual. So for example, on MG Souza at the top, sorry, just bring that back to you. His average stakes not very high, hand count is pretty low, ability rating not very strong. If I click on somebody that's got a little profit next to them, so alright, I'll bring it to myself for example. I'll just bring this little icon up here so I can bring that so you can see the whole data. I'll bring it up for you here. There we go. It shows you the hand count, average profit, average stake, average ROI, profit, and ability rating. And then you can see a little chart on how, pretty standard MTT chart there, how that particular individual is done. Now, whilst I resume this for you, if I just show you this, at the bottom, if you look at myself, you can actually see recently seen hands. And this will save up to 12 hands, okay, that you've recently seen. So it's quite useful, a little bit of data there. At the bottom, you've also got something called the M ratio here. So you MTT pros will obviously be quite keen on that, as it's a good indicator of a player's stat condition in relation to the blinds. Basically, a high M ratio means a player can afford to wait a high number of rounds before making a move, and a low M ratio means he's going to have to make some moves fast before running out of chips. Now, a little tip, if I can just bring this to your attention. You see this line here that everybody's got, for example, Mixuza, there's red, Bez is yellow. That's actually a visual indicator of how a person's doing in relation to the M ratio. So, green is basically 20 or more. Yellow, if it goes that color, is 10 or more. Orange is 6 or more. And red is 5 or less. Now, if you think about it, if you're multi-tabling, you got like 8, 10, 12 tables running, just being able to have a quick sneaky peek at that and that visual color aid there, it's quite handy to have. So if I bring it back to my table here, still in the event. So on the top right, you'll see this little panel here, okay, which basically gives you how the table's playing. So, for example, table on average 37% in the pot, pre-flop raise 8, aggression factor 47, so nothing spectacular. Okay, then you move to these what we call control icons. So for example, the first one, if I hover over, just click this here, if I hover over it here, it says turn on or off the HUD. So watch this, I'm going to turn it off, the HUD disappears. I turn it back on, up it pops up in a second, which is great. The next one here is basically the big one, okay? Let me just bring this over for you. In fact, I'll move the table over a wee bit more so you can see it, and obviously it slides with you. There you go, people. And that gives you all the options you have. Let me just fold that hand here. All the options you have with regards to the HUD. So you can resize the HUD panels, show marked cards, you can select which ones you want, show all-time statistics, or maybe just the current session. That's for yourself. For opponent HUD, all-time or just the current table, all depending on what you want to do there. Then you get two really useful stats here, which is hands for stat-specific colors, and I'll explain them in a minute, and they kick in on two fronts. So this particular one for the coloring, so basically that's, see the colors I've got here, the yellow and the green, they kick in. It's set up roughly about 25 for myself, but you can start that at 0 and slide that all the way up to 100, 150, whatever you want. The next one down is hands for player icons. That's set at a standard 25, and those icons will actually reflect on how that player plays, and that's a setup that SharkScope have got for you. So let me try and get you something for that to demonstrate how that works. So if you look at myself just now, because it hasn't got enough data on me, if I hover over it, it says indefinable, doesn't fit any other category. However, when you get enough hands on your opponent, that will change. It will change your little rock icon. It will change to various other categories, whether it's a fish. And that just gives you a little visual glance at the table. And obviously, if you're multi-tabling, very useful tool to say, right, this guy's a rock. I have to be careful when he puts his money in. This guy's got it. If he's a bit of a maniac, it'll have that flag as well. And you can actually set the parameters for that, and I'll show you that and how to do that in a minute. Now the next icon on the table here is the star icon. Now that shows the previous hand. So say you've played a hand out, you think, bugger, I'd like to see that one again, see what I went wrong or what's this player up to. Just star it. Just click that star. There you go. Boom. And that will save the previous hand for you. So you can go back, star it and check it out later on, which is a great tool. The last one to point out here is the filter tab. Okay, now this filter tab basically allows you to apply filters to your table. Very simply, if you're playing an MTT, do you really want to see all the sit and go stats for this individual? So if I bring up, for example, this player to my right, Charles Deary, he's got 2k of hands here, okay? But for all we know, 1500 of that could be sit and goes. That's going to totally warp this hand, your view on that individual. Just raise that up. SharkScope might go for this. We'll find out in a minute. And certainly in my preference, if I'm playing an MTT, just put that out there, I would really want to remove somebody's sit and go stats from their data. Let's see if we win this. He's got a king 8. Ooh, yes we do. Now if you have a filter in place, this little icon here will actually turn yellow. Okay, so you've actually got that visual aid right in front of you, reminding you you've got a filter in place. You think, I better remove that filter. It's up to you. Now, as we're playing here, people, I'm just going to fold that big raise. Look, these icons have changed, so I thought I'd just bring that. So I've got enough hands now, so this person is now labeled as a fish. This one on the left, it's got a wee icon here. Just bring that over for you, is a gambler. So we'll just free bet this little puppy. So if I bring you to the other table I've got running in the background here, just before I leave here, it's on a break here, but on the top right, as I say, there's a little section here with the table, VPP, or VVPIP, preflop raise aggression. It's just a very quick visual aid to tell you how this table is playing. So if you think about it, if it's a passive table, you can really take advantage of it in an MTT. If it's an aggressive table, then you can probably look at sitting back a wee bit and think, right, I need to pick my spots here and obviously play with premium holdings. Now I'm going to go to the HUD panel section here. So on here, I can get to it here by hitting HUD preferences, which brings this up. Okay, and that gives you 5 main areas that I'm going to talk you through just now. However, if you're in the desktop, you can get to the HUD by doing head up display options, which is here. There you got 5 main tabs here to play through. Now I've mentioned the wizard already here. Now the wizard here basically is the basic stats, right, for SharkScope HUD, and the more extensive stats, which is what I'm obviously using right now. And it's instant. When you hit apply, it changes it straight away. So if you don't want these cool stats, let me just get back to this for you so you can see. So if you don't want the HUD with what they're playing in the pre-flop raise or aggression factor and all these cool new things in it, then you can go back to the basic one. It's up to you. The choice is very much yours. So that's the wizard itself. So in simple terms, the wizard allows you to make the hub appear just like it did with the old SharkScope HUD software, and it just shows SharkScope data and no hand history stats when in that mode. Okay? The general tab here, very simple. It's a click button there, enable hub. Hero HUD stats, all-time stats. You can play around with this. Opponent stats like the all-time or the current session. You can resize stuff. Very simple. Play around with that as you see fit. The next section to look at here is the layouts. Now this is the one that you guys and girls will really want to get stuck into. Alright, so you can, for example, statistics tables is click there, show player name in the HUD. So if and these are instant, so if I take them off, so for example, if I take the player name off, right, watch this, I'll just tick that off here and then I'll go back to that. You can see in the preview box here and here, it's actually removed the player's name. And that's the great thing about this preview box is you can play around with what you want. You don't have to flick to your table. The preview box lets you amend things and you can see it instantly and how it's going to look on your table. Now this is where it gets really cool. Here, very simple, the HUD font, you can select what you want, how big it is, type here like plain, bold, italic, all the different sections here for the family it falls under. Get out here, but this is the cool bit here. So in the ring games, you've got ring games and tournaments. You can see that. All right, and in the ring games, you can select SharkScope Hand Tracker. You can go, they've actually got several pre-made HUDs for you. So you've got Phil Gordon's little book in there, Crushing the Microstakes. They're already free, by the way. Okay, so you can actually utilize them. You can use the SharkScope only HUD. And if you want, you can custom your own. Now, for you pros out there that like playing around with it yourself, up to you. It's carte blanche. All right, it's fantastic. So, and what's really cool about this is it gives you a little demonstration of how the HUD looks with the current setup. So, for example, I've got an MTT running in the background, and I've got 3-bet here clicked. Okay, so if I take that 3-bet off, okay, pre-flop, I can actually remove that for you. And just let me take that and go none, and it disappears. And you can see here in your little display box here that 3-bet has vanished. Simple as that. Now look at all the options, by the way. There's so much there you can pick from. So you can make this HUD very sophisticated or very simple. It's really down to you. It's very, very user-friendly. And like I say, it's very sophisticated. So you've got summary, you've got pre-flop, you've got steal, post-flop, SharkScope data as well. So if you want more information on the individual, like the average ROI, their average profit, all this little information. And as I say, it's really down to you to play around with this to set it up the way you want to. But I've shown you how simple it is. And obviously this little icon here, you can see here, background is black. Opacity, if I just change that whilst we're talking, see how the demonstration, it gets really light and then you can just bring it right up here and you can get really dark. I normally have it about 3/4 of the way there, so it's just about right for the table. But again, it's just down to what you want. Now in the bottom left, if you play around with it and you think, do you know what, I like what I've already got with the SharkScope HUD, you've got a restore to defaults button here. Very useful if you're playing around with stuff and you think, ah, I've made a bit of a hash of this. I just want to start all over again. Restore to defaults, boom, into the default mode again, and then you can start all over again or just keep the default mode. If we move on to this next section here, which is colors, very, very simple. Green is for good, obviously, excellent ability. Yellow is for good ability. And the red, obviously, not so hot. Okay, now you can add stuff to this, like this, with the add button. You can put something in there, and put the default, change the description, etc. Delete that. Restore to defaults. And it just sets it for you. And you can have a number of hands here for stat-specific colors. And you can actually go into any of these ones you want. And you might not agree with what's green and what's red and what's yellow. Well, look, double click it. You get an option there to change whatever you want. And you can actually double click that, right, either side of it. So that you can change the color. And that on the right hand side, you can change when it kicks in. So that really means if you're very, should we say, stat specific and you know what you want and you know what you're looking at and percentages and you want to go away and maybe do a little bit extra homework, you can change all this default stuff that's already here. And I have to say the data here is very, very good. It's pretty accurate. But if you want to tweak some of it, so simple, it's right up to you. So I'm going to demonstrate how you can create a couple of new rules here. It is really easy. So at the bottom here you get a little plus one. So we're going to add this in here, and up, see in the highlighted box it gives you this hands play, but obviously we're going to change that. So if we click in there just now and we want to change that, let's go for a SharkScope stat here, like that's the average profit. That's a really good one here. And we just go plus plus plus. It puts red, yellow, green. Again, like I say, you can change those colors. So let's say this individual's average profit is $1,000. We'll put it in there. We'll put that to say 500, and you can delete the bottom one. I'm just doing this quickly so I can show it to you. There you go. I've created a new rule for average profit, and then I can bung that into my HUD if I want to put it in. If I want to do another one here, say there you go, I've highlighted it again, hands played, double click, we'll go plus plus plus, and we'll just go for say another SharkScope stat like average stake. That's a really good one actually, and we'll say $100. That's a decent staking there. We can go 75. Do what you want. You know what I mean? You can bung it in whatever you want there. Click OK. There you go. I've just created two new rules for average profit, average stake, and then I can bung that in my hub. Et voila. That simple. Little next tab along here is the player icons, and this is actually quite useful when you're glancing at a table, especially if you're multi-tabling. And again, you can actually change this, change the data on it, change the actual icon, whatever you want to do. You can add an extra icon in with the plus or minus button here. So if I want to put one in, you can see there I can do it. If I want to take it back out, I can do it. It's that flexible. Kicks in after 25 hands, remember, and it gives you basically, and then obviously we hit restore there. If we make a mess of it, I lost my rock there. Bring my rock back. That tells me what a rock looks like, what a whale looks like, fish, calling station. It's got extra data in there, an eagle, and it actually brings in a lot of data. So for somebody to be a very good player, so like an eagle here, that's a pretty sharp individual here. That takes in a lot of data in there, and you got to click all those buttons or all those sections, I should say, tick them all off before you get that eagle icon. And that is a very useful visual aid when you're at a table and you've got say 3 or 4 tables running at the same time. You think, hang on, this rock's just gone and free bet me here. I'm going to have to be careful. You know what I mean? Now, if I move to this icon here, the wee SharkScope icon, see my mouse is just now, and I click on that. That brings me to the cache section here. Now, useful bit of information to share with yourself. You can see here at the top, you've got this cache player for 24 hours or cache player for 1 hour. Basically, the best way to describe that is the cache is a way that it remembers the SharkScope statistics for the length of time without refetching them. So, for example, if you've got 24 hours, it will remember that data for 24 hours, so it cuts down on your searches. Now, obviously, searches cost dollars, and we want to be careful of our money, don't we? One wee point to note out, though, if you are playing against somebody that does a lot of game stroke hands in 24 hours, like a sit and go person that's whacking out the volume, that data may not be 100% accurate because obviously it saved it for 24 hours. So just a wee pointer there to keep you on your toes. Okay. Other functions you can do here is like show hero information and keep in cache, show hero and don't cache, really down to yourself. Now, just to make you aware, by default, the SharkScope Desktop shows SharkScope tournament-based statistics on both tournament and ring game tables, so you need to be aware of that, okay? Now, if you only want to see hand history based statistics on ring game tables, then you can configure that in this section here, which brings me really nicely onto filters. And I'm actually going to show you how you can use this great tool to amend your HUD data to the way you want it. And when you look at this section here, see where my mouse is pointing, you've got what we call a default filter. Now this default filter shows all SharkScope tournament data on the HUD. However, obviously if you're playing in sit and goes, you may want to change this by double clicking on it like this. See this? Boom, boom. Up the filter section. And there you go, you get a sit and go actually only filter. So you just click that, hit that OK, and there you go, default is now sit and go only. Very handy to know that. And if you want to turn it back very quickly, just double click and just put none, and that's it back to none. Now a lot of you will be out there screaming, right, well how do I make more complicated filters? Well, let's show you how to do it. So if we go back to this SharkScope actual main page here, you can see here that's basically the page I'm looking at here. You're at player statistics is what you want to click on. Up here you've got basic and then you click on advanced search, okay? And here it's really a matter of you playing around with what you want to do. So you've got entrants here, so a number of entrants. You can actually obviously change that. Use the slider key here. And here you've got an include all types and an exclude. Include is probably the easiest one because obviously exclude you're going to have to pick all these bits you want to leave out. Whereas include, if you're playing, for example, heads up. So let's look at this. Let's go for a heads up one. We'll click on that if you're a heads up specialist. And we want to go down here and we're going to say hold 'em. We'll just create that one there. And I go to the top right here with a filter and I say I want to save current filter. And we'll just call this heads up hold 'em. Simple as that. And that's it. That's me saved that into my filters. Now let's just do another one here. So go back to here, uncheck call, nice and simple. And let's say I want to do a 6 max PLO. You're a PLO maniac. So we'll just go down here, click the 6 max here, scroll down, look at all these. I'm doing this slowly so you can see, oh, you got structure, speed, price structure, really down to you what you want to do. So we're looking at Omaha here, pot limit. So I'm looking for my pot limit. So there's my 6 max. There's my pot limit. Clicked. Okay. Scroll down here. I want Omaha high, obviously. That's it there. And we'll just save that. So we'll just click outside the box. Come to here. Save current. And we'll just call this PLO 6 max. And then just save. There we go. It's as simple as that. So now I need to go back to my desktop. So I'll bring that back up here. And if we go to the plus key here, it now gives me the option to add those filters. Now I need to use the refresh button here because at the moment you can see there's nothing in there apart from the standard sit and go only one. So if I hit refresh, see that? Just takes a few seconds and look, all of a sudden I've got a heads up hold 'em and a 6 max PLO there which I've just created. So if I want to add that into the filter, just click the heads up hold 'em, click the game type, which obviously is all hold 'em hands, table size, obviously it's heads up. There you go. Boom, there's the heads up hold 'em in there. If I want to add in multiple filters, you can add as many as you want basically. So if we look at my PLO one, remember we're going to add that in here, click that in there, bring this up here so you can see it. So we go to my PLO 6 max. Obviously it's a pot limit Omaha, if we can find it, there it is there we go. And that's 3 to 6 players to apply that to any table size. Click OK and there it is. It is as easy as that. And you can customize this any way you want depending on what type of table you're playing at. Now you can make this as complicated as you want or as simple as you want. It really is down to your own personal preference. However, we note of caution, be careful because the more specific the filters are, right, the more data you're actually going to be excluding from your HUD. So just be cautious when you're actually using your filters, okay? Now I've covered an awful lot here for you, but I want to just give you a brief overview of how to use this fantastic piece of software and adapt it to the way you want it to work. If you've got any questions or queries, then obviously just shout. SharkScope are more than happy to help you out. And don't forget, when you're on the actual home page, if you click on the SharkScope Desktop on HUD, you've got the user guide menu there. You just click on, pops up in a second, and it will actually give you a visual walkthrough of everything I'm talking about. So that's a handy reference to what I've already done for you today. So on that note, take care, and I hope you enjoy the HUD. Bye now.